Guys, this is Marquis and we'll present you another replay, a game analysis from a ranked battle. I am here again with my favorite lizard build that you may have seen in my previous videos. I like this build quite a lot. It has a lot of very good range pressure with the Firelizard. That can double up as very annoying and mobile pieces. I have a unit of Nude Braves. In my previous video, I think I was playing Crocolisk in that place. But basically, it's like the central unit of infantry that is going to hold objectives and receive charges, like let's say. I have the Lord on T-Rex that is here to hopefully get some good charges and some good damage, but is a little bit on the fragile side in terms of HP. And the Triceratops, that is the opposite, is a real tank but does not do a lot of damage. It's really here to hold with the 9 Discipline and Fearless. My opponent has a build that is very... my opponent is FuzzyLogic. Might be the top player, the best player in the current ranked ladder, but if he's not, he's definitely in the top 5 of the best player of this game. He has a build that is very dangerous, a lot of good shooting with the Elven Conclaves, so the City Guard, the Bolt Thrower for some lethal shots that are going to be deadly against my dinos, and the Spell Sword with Cruelty and Fireball. So this is a very, very nasty and shooty build, completed with 2 Giant Eagles that are going to go on the side or in the back, intercept charges and be a nuisance. And a Chariot, another mobile piece that can also shoot. This build is really the top meta build from, let's say, 1 month ago approximately, but now that objectives have been introduced, so unfortunately we still cannot see the objectives in the replay. This was an objective game with 1 objective in the middle, and that right outside of the gate is a disadvantage to my opponent, because he has very little that can go on the objective, right? So I will probably earn 50 points per turn. He can contest with the Chariot and the City Guard, and so the Chariot will want to go up, but is a little bit fragile, but the City Guard does not really want to go up, so I will probably have an advantage. On the first turn, he starts with a very bad 1-1 shooting at my riders. I am chipping 1 wound away from his Lord. He chipping 1 wound away from my Firelizard, then moves back. So I did not mind moving up the Triceratops first. He can definitely get a side charge on me, there's no doubt about it, but the Triceratops might just beat the Giant Eagle. So you see my Triceratops protects the flank of the Nude Braves, and I don't mind that positioning. Okay, so that's why I moved my Triceratops first. I'm much more cautious about what's going on here, right? He's probably going to move his Spell Sword last, but he went first, all right? So I can have one of my units here decide to go last. Probably I want my T-Rex Lord to go last, but let's see. Obviously I want to have my Firelizard shoot, but you can see my opponent is very good and he's not giving me any target, right? I want to kill my Firelizard before they come into range. So yeah, so given that, I still want to have something to do with my Firelizard, or at least use them as deterrent, right? So my T-Rex, I move it on the side, try to be extra cautious, and let's say prevent the Chariot or the Lord to stay here for free. I continue with my good luck, because my Firelizard survives on 1 wound. So definitely I was lucky during that shooting phase. My opponent had a very bad shooting phase. And you can see how cautious it is, right? He hides the spell sword and so on. He hides it back here. So now what I'm saying here is I want to take to force some action. My opponent is super cautious and I want some action to happen, right? Maybe threaten the bolt thrower or something like that. He still has his giant eagle that can move, and he moves it right where it can intercept my riders. And my lizard obviously is too far to do anything, so I place it outside of the charge range of the chariot. So obviously I was declaring the first charge to the bolt thrower, and he had to counter, to intercept. Okay, if I had not declared it, he would not have bothered with interception. So the giant eagle, that's why they're very good. Okay, it's because they can intercept charges like that, but you never have to do, right? So he did not want to charge into my Triceratops, for example. So this is why I considered the Firelizard to be so strong, is because you could see that I immediately did 3 wounds to the chariot, and possibly now, if he charges me next turn, might actually beat it in melee. Here I take 2 wounds on my lord, and I kill the chariot. Right. So you can see how cautious we have been. I still, in the trade, I lose my Firelizard to the city guard, but that's fair. Huh? It was surviving on 1 wound. So I had already 1 extra shoot that I was lucky to get. And I placed my brave to score the objective. Remember, the giant eagle does not contest the objective. Right. So at that stage of the game, we have been quite cautious. Here I'm trying to force a little bit the engagement because I want my Triceratops to be in range of the city guard and force it to do something. So the giant eagle here is not turning to the back of my Triceratops. I think that's a mistake. I think my opponent made a mistake here. He could have turned just a little bit to have some line of sight to the back of my Triceratops in addition to the side of the newts. I think it's a mistake. And here the Cruelty Fireball is very nasty because it took 3 wounds out of my Warlord. My Warlord is now on 1 wound, and I have absolutely nothing to show for it, right? I have not been able to threaten anything with my Lord, and he's almost already dead. So the fight here is the fight of wet noodles, but I'm lucky enough to succeed my moral check. So to save my lord, I charge here. Stop. To save my lord, I charge here. Otherwise, it would have been completely killed by the fireball or something. The spell sword takes the opportunity to charge my Firelizard. And here I do my charge my Triceratops into the city guard. This fight is probably not going to lead to anything, right? And both sides have very weak offensive capabilities. There is no Hex of Ruin to help him break my good defense. So I will save on 2+. On the other hand, I have only 4 attacks, so yeah, most likely nothing happens in that fight. And the interesting point here is that I think my opponent would have preferred to rear charge my Triceratops and shoot at my newts, but he failed to position correctly, I think. We'll have to discuss with my opponent at some point. In the post-game analysis, we discussed a bit, and we did not mention that, but I think that was a mistake. So I called the +1 strength. The +1 strength is here so that my Firelizard would have 5 power against his 5 defense, and he would save on 4 up. So on a lucky break, I could maybe hope to kill it or at least wound it. So the giant eagle here, positioned in the back, so close that my newt will not be able to move around, right? Very excellent positioning on this part here. Okay, so my newt, they are sitting on the objective, same as my warlord though, but so they are holding the objective, but let's say they cannot contribute elsewhere thanks to that annoying eagle. I think I'm going to kill the eagle simply. Yes, he managed to kill one rider. Fine. Here he saves everything and I flee. Okay. And here is the fight of the wet noodles. He does one wound to me and I do one wound to him and nothing happens. So okay, so that compensates. You know, I never blame the dice for winning or losing in that game, because you can see that he did a very poor shot at first on my riders, but now he one-shots them. So dice, they come and they go. Interestingly, he did not charge in the back of my lizard. He wants to do something else with his spell sword. So here is interesting. Okay, so my Firelizard is rallying, but he does not want the spell sword to be invested in it, right? He wants the spell sword to go after my warlord. So instead he uses the eagle, which means that my warlord knows what's coming. If I stay here, or if I just face the warlord, he's a flying lord, right? So he can go far, turns back, be in charge range, and I cannot do anything about it. I have nowhere I can hide. So the only thing I can do is rely on my newt to provide a buffer. So now if he's coming, let's say here, I can have my newt move here and attack his lord. And his lord has 3 wounds left, and my braves, they do 14 attacks, and even with power 2, on a lucky roll I can damage him, maybe kill him, right? He has only 3 wounds left. But basically I'm providing a buffer. So I take my lord as far as I can on that side. He realizes there's no way he can stay here. So instead, he does not fall into my trap, obviously. He goes as far as he can on the side. He's probably thinking that next turn he's going to place it around here. So I'm placing myself in a way where I can either charge here if something bad happens, or intercept the lord if the lord comes around here. Here this fight is still a 1-1, like I said, wet noodle fight, nothing interesting. He charges there, I charge here. Again, the fight, the least interesting fight in the world. Over there, a little bit more interesting. We wound each other, and that's a good one here. That's a really good one. I fail everything. It's terrible. I do one hit. I reroll the hit on 4. After reroll, still one hit. He saves it. Then my dino fails everything. He hits me back with one hit and I fail the save. And he kills my lord. No! Alright, that's bad luck. That's bad luck. That's the second time this happens to me. I had an arc devil being killed in melee by a cannon. And now I have 2 of these stories to tell. I have a ballista king, a T-Rex lord, and a cannon killing an arc devil. Right. But at that point, the game looks bad to me from the replay, but remember there's an objective in the middle. I've been sitting on it for 4 turns now, and that brings me 200 points and has probably nothing that will contest it. So if I sit here, it's 350 points for the whole game. Yeah, I think I'm ahead. Perhaps right now, let's say it's balanced, okay? Turn 6, kills a neuter 2. And here, incredible. Here, he positioned, at the previous turn, I did not mention it, but he positioned him so well that it was impossible for me to get in range to him. Impossible, okay? Moving that way, I could not get a charge range. Moving that way, I cannot get a charge range. Man, he's not the first rank player for nothing. He's really, really good positioning. The important thing is that here, if nothing happens here, he's going to kill me, I think. Yeah. And then in the last turn, yeah, he's killing me, but in the last turn, like I said, I'm ahead on points by a lot. So now he has to take that desperate charge. Okay. Here, nothing happens again. I'm having an advantage here because I reduced him to half strength. He did reduce me to half strength as well, but on monster you do not get half the points. I reduced him to half the points. So at least my Triceratops got half the point of the city guard. Okay, so it did not do nothing. And here he did have to take that desperate charge because I was holding the objective. Okay, and I chose to countercharge to get the +1 strength. So I go to 3 power. To 3 power against his 5 defense, so he saves on 5s instead of saving on 6. Instead of saving on he saves on 3 instead of saving on 2s. And here my Braves, they kill it. Yes. So let me pop up the right. So the game result, obviously, because of the 300 points I get from the objective, it's a very heavy win. If it had not been an objective game, probably I would have lost it. I wouldn't have played the same, of course, but he had a lot of very good tools, very long range tools. I had short range tools, so probably would have been a very different story. That's why this build was so dominant when there was no objective, right? But with the objective, I can flip the script, I can hold the center, get 300 points, and he has to work to get it back, right? That was an awesome game. Very, very interesting. His positioning was so on point. When his spell sword was like 1 pixel away from being charged by my newts. Incredible. In any case, thanks for my opponent for this awesome game.